Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be showing a game that I played in a team match between Baduk Club versus Capital Go Club. It's just a fun event with several rounds, and it has members from the Baduk Club and members from the Capital Go Club playing each other in weekly games. This is the second round, I couldn't play in the first round, but yeah, I don't know if there'll be other rounds that I'll be in either. So this might just be a one-time video, but if I am in further rounds, there'll be other reviews of my other games. As I said, this is just a fun event, just coming together and playing some good games. My opponent is Zhou, and we have played once before in the past. It was at the San Diego Go Congress. It was not in the main tournament, but it was in something called the Evening League, where it's just after kind of the day has settled down, you could still play some rated serious games in this thing called the Evening League, and that's where I played Michael. The time settings are 30 minutes main time with 5 30-second overtime. I am black in this game, and very standard opening. Even play the small Knights enclosure, which is kind of fallen out of style a little bit because of all the new AI moves, which we'll see shortly. White, of course, approaches and take the corner. And the normal move, of course, is just extending here, whether you play that one or the one in the game, or this one. In the game, though, white plays this one. The idea with this one is if you play this one later or even right now, black has the opportunity to extend here. And this feels pretty comfortable for black. It, of course, is a nice extension from black's corner, and it is looking at some weakness in white's shape here. So what is white doing with this move? If black, let's just say black stands up. Now, if black tries the same sort of move, you can see white has already made this exchange. So white is trying to get this exchange before black plays this move. Because if white does it now, black might play differently, and black probably would play differently. So that's why white is doing it now, before white chooses what to do on the right side. Because black has many choices here. The one choice you don't want to do as black is some sort of pincering move, because you lose a lot in the corner, and the corner hurts a lot, and you're not really going to attack either side too greatly. Both of white stones are pretty light and easy to deal with. So in the game, I just Hane, and white extends, and I descend. You can connect here, and the idea with this is now this turn is not Sente. When I come down, well, it's better on points because white doesn't get this Hane here. White does get this extra turn and then extend. But either one is fine for black. And if you do connect, white will still just extend back somehow. Maybe like this, or just treating the stones lightly still, something like this. And you can see that white was able to surround the right side in a more efficient way as opposed to just playing some move on the 10th line here. But black has Sente, and black has gotten what black wants to pretty decent corners. So approach, white kicks, sure, and then extend, and then white fixes the last corner. So far this opening is pretty standard and pretty simple too. So then I approach, and white comes down. White is saying, I don't really need to fight this because the value of the lower side is not that great. Like, if white were to do some sort of kick like this and pincer, like the fact the corner is still open, and again, the value of the bottom is actually not that big. So white just stays calm and just comes down saying, okay, black, if you do want to do something on the bottom, it's not going to be worth a lot. So in the game, I treat this exchange good as for me, and so I just ignore. But this move is the right direction, but I'm not sure it's the right spot. Because white was able to come in. Of course, this side is important as opposed to the bottom, because the development black can get is much bigger. But white's able to pretty easily come in because this is threatening some sort of connection underneath. So I have to, instead of just jumping, because if I jump, white can connect under, I had to play this sort of move. And this move puts some more pressure on the corner, but you'll see that white pushes up once and then extends. And again, while white is not 100% alive, allowing white to get this extension doesn't feel great. So I'm curious if there are other moves I could play, like maybe the direct attachment, or maybe something like this, or maybe I don't even go that far and I back off a little bit like this. Now if white tries to come in, there's no second line Tsuji. Go there, and I thought this was strange by white to push up once, because usually when you push, you're going to cut. Now, if white does cut, you'll see that after this push, and then this move is sente towards the corner. See, these three stones are not really doing much. This stone up top is getting isolated, and there is some weakness in black shape on the upper left here, but white is weaker, so white can't fight too strongly there. So this would be good for black. So directly, the cut doesn't really work. So it makes sense why white didn't cut, but usually when you push, you want to cut. But I guess if white just extended, white didn't want to see this sort of shape. Like, this shape is too strong for black. So I guess it does make sense to push at least once. Create some aji there, even if you don't use it. But white's able to extend and then attach. This is the same idea as the upper right for white. And going back to the upper right for white, because I played such a solid shimari, or a corner enclosure, white is okay with attaching to it, making it stronger, because its growth isn't going to be that big. Like, it's only going to get a couple points bigger if you attach to it. Same thing with the lower left. I'm not thinking I can get in there, so as long as I can limit it to that corner, I'm okay with that. So you can see I get some free forcing moves, quote-unquote free, and white's corner hasn't grown by that much. And especially after D2, I wasn't expecting to be able to invade there. So I'm okay with doing that sort of attachment. Yes, and if I had directly done this sort of move, it would allow white to do this extension. So you can see by attaching, I've kind of not allowed white to do that move as easily. Cap, this was me trying to, now that white has helped the upper side, I was worried about some sort of cutting moves here. So I was trying to, one, this is kind of, you can see black's starting to develop the upper left, but two, I was trying to help the cut here. Again, if we looked at this sequence here, like this, that was the move I played after these moves here, right? That's the spot I would play. So it's a move I want to get eventually if this fight started. But of course, it leaves a lot of bad aji. But I didn't want to leave that aji either. I didn't want to do other things and allow white to cut here, especially after white extended. So I wasn't sure. I didn't want to do anything too slow, though, like this, because now white could just play where I played even. And yeah, I didn't really get to attack the top, and I didn't really get anything for it either. So that's why I decided on this. But this elephant eye here really made me paranoid during the game. If white does it directly, I was going to, let's see, I was going to play this move. I can't do this because, of course, when white bumps here, it's threatening cutting or coming out. I couldn't do this one because after this move, white has this sort of move. But this isn't really all that bad, actually. If this sort of move happened, like this would be a fight. But white can just cut directly. And yeah, it's hard to keep this sealed in. And again, maybe right now it doesn't quite work, but later if white's able to get moves like over here somewhere, maybe even just a shoulder hit looking at the cut directly, then we have some problems. But basically this elephant eye I was worried about even though I played it, but I couldn't find a good move otherwise. I didn't want white to go here, so I was like, okay, I'll just take it. So white jumps, and of course the move here is peep. This is a very standard when your opponent has this 2-line extension along the side and there's a 1-space jump, you peep, especially with the capping stone here. And this would be a good asking move because in the game I just turn, but the thing is I wouldn't have to do that turn. So like let's say white just connects, right? Like this. Well, maybe now I could turn, but like white can't connect easily anyways. Like if white tries to run or tries to connect, like this sort of fight here would of course be good for black. Black's corner is alive, so white has the 2 weak groups to take care of. If white plays this one, now white can't connect because now white has 2 ways they have to connect. And what I mean by that is if white goes this way, I can just play this one and white isn't connected. If white connects this one, something like this, again, you can see how painful this is for white to have to capture the stone. Even now I could still turn, and white is actually not alive yet either, if I'm able to get this sort of move like this. So yeah, I just need to make that peep. See how white's going to answer, because it'll change how I answer. But by going here, white's able to play there, and I actually glazed over it, but if white does connect, there's a very nasty teisuji of going here, where white is unable to cut the stone off. If white goes this way, I can change directions and connect to my H17 stone. If white blocks, then I'm able to connect back to my center stones here. So yeah, I know this move, so it's just weird how I just didn't play it. And this move does put pressure on the right side, and it does lead to an invasion on the right side, but you'll see I actually lose a lot up top. So white kicks here. It's a good move. And then I descend. Yeah, I really want this move. This is threatening some bad aji in the corner, so it's just easiest for white to just answer. But of course, if white's able to hane and connect, you can see how big the corner is, and now I have some weakness in my shape that I don't want to answer because of how overconcentrated I get. But if I don't answer, then of course there's really bad aji, whether the direct peep or clamp. So it'd be a tricky situation. So I really wanted this move, and I'm glad I got it. But yeah, but then I play this move. But notice I don't have the stone at M16. So this changes things when I try to stand up and connect. Now, in the game, I was actually okay with this because my whole idea with this is I am still worried about this cut here at G15. So I wanted to fix this area, or the cut and the elephant eye. So I wanted to fix this area in Sente. And so I've done that, but you can see white not only captures stones, but white is also alive. So yeah, this move not so good. But now you can see I have some thickness, so I go for center strategy, and usually you don't want to push from behind, but I'm trying to get Sente. I played this one, offering white to take that stone. Again, I could try to save this stone, but if I have to try to live, you can see where I have to run towards. I have to run towards my moyo I'm trying to develop. If I get too caught up in my moyo, though, something like this, then this group gets under attack. So I can't build a moyo and save the group. So I just say, okay, I'll let you have that stone, but on a small scale. And white does take it. It is big. And then I get my move on the right side here. And white just attaches under. And then we get this sort of trade. like this, where I get the 3 stones and then in Sente, because white has to defend there. And this, capturing these 3 stones isn't just capturing 3 stones, it actually solidifies the upper right. Like at this point, if let's say I do something else and white plays moves in the corner, this would not be Sente, because I am 100% alive on the side here. But while those stones are alive, let's say white went here, and then now these moves are going to be Sente. So white can reduce me in Sente if those 3 stones here are not captured. But once they are captured, I no longer need to worry about the upper right. And white could have tried this move, and if I block, be able to come underneath like this, and you can see now I'm unable to Hane here, because white can just capture. The reason why white didn't do that is because this move I do not need to play. I can simply just play this sort of bumping move, and white kind of has to come through. Now, if white comes down, this is already a good enough reduction for black. Even black can keep fighting if black wants to. Black probably should. And if white pokes through, then I get this Hane, like this. And so now this group is weak, the 5 stones for white, and now this lower right group is getting weak. So that's why white's unable to play this move, even though it looks Sente. So white just has to kind of give up. Even doing it at this point means like black can just connect. So cut, and then capture, and play there. And then building the center, so white comes... I played this one first, and then then I played there. And of course, white is leading on points, but white needs to make sure black doesn't get a big center, so white comes in. And so now the question is, how can I attack the stone here? It is on the sector line, so it's pretty difficult to. I think though, maybe some sort of capping move like this would be okay, but it's just, you can see how difficult it is to actually get some sort of attack on this group. Although getting stones here would mean moving this stone out would be a lot easier. And you'll see I try to move the stone out because I'm trying to attack this from afar. But you can see after this push, by me, it gets a lot harder to disconnect white here from the right side. Attach, and the idea is here is to stay light. That's the whole idea. White is super strong there. I'm not trying to make points or take away points. I'm just trying to get some interference, if you will. I'm trying to make it so that if white has to run in this direction, run towards the bottom, I have stones there that are blocking his connection. But you'll see that, yeah, this move is probably a pretty bad mistake. I just need to cut. Just need a cut. Again, maybe white does capture that stone. Again, it's not that big to capture that stone, but I am able to get something on the bottom in exchange. And again, white could try fighting this, but again, when white has kind of 2 weak groups on the board, white has to be careful. So I don't need to actually make a group here. I can just cut like this. But I extend up, push. And you'll see, again, I do save the stone, whereas in the other variation I don't, but I end in Gote. Now that I'm heavy, I kind of have to save these stones now. So now white gets another move into the into my Moyo. And going back to the Moyo there, in general, when you have a Moyo, you don't want to just surround that territory. Because the point of Moyos is to fight with it, is to fight. So just taking the cash generally doesn't feel that good. Now, in some cases, it is big enough to just take it like this, but in this case, it is not. So I kind of have to fight this. Yeah. So I've reduced white a little bit, and then turn, and white comes in, and now, okay, so I've accomplished my first goal. I've cut white off from the bottom stones. Now I gotta do things on the right side to cut off the center. White plays this move, and I don't really know the point of this. Maybe this is white trying to make me heavier to see if, like, if white just fixes, I'm not really attached to this stone because it's just one stone. If white ends up, swallowing it, it's just one stone, something like this. But making this exchange first, now white knows I'm more invested in those stones. But it really is just making me stronger towards white's center group. So I don't really... It does help white later on, but right now I'm not really sure the exchange helped white. And then this move here. So white does need to add some sort of move here to fix, but the question is, why doesn't white just play this one? Because in the game, when I go there, or when they go there, I go here immediately, and then they have to fix. So why did white descend and allow me to get this move? Well, the idea is efficiency. If white just goes here, that's it. That's all that move does, is it connects. But this move, not only, because I can't go any further, this move does connect white, even though white gets reduced a little bit. But it has an effect on the corner. Of course, after this drop down, there's a huge monkey jump. There's a huge, huge, huge monkey jump. So, yeah, this is a very efficient move, even though it looks like it might lose points compared to this one. Because even though this might gain a little more points, this one is threatening to reduce more in black's corner. So that's why white went there. It's a very nice move. And then just cap. White Ataris, connect. In most cases, you would want to take these stones off the board so white doesn't get any extra forcing moves. But this Atari, white doesn't really get because it's a snapback. And you can see white cannot connect anyways. So that's why I can just connect. And connecting means that this stone, if I just take, this stone has 3 liberties as opposed to just 2 liberties here, which changes things when I try to connect, like right now. And here, I'm not sure why white doesn't play the tiger's mouth. Yeah, I'm not sure why. If I Hane, white can cut, and this looks dangerous for black. Yeah, it looks dangerous for black. Maybe white didn't want to see the center getting cut off, but the right side itself is pretty big. And white still has access over here to connect back the center stones if white needs to. So I'm not really sure what white was afraid of. Yeah, I'm not sure, because after this, if white blocks, then this cut is now threatening to cut here or cleanly cut off the center too. So white comes in, and then I poke at the shape. Yeah, poke at the shape. Peep. And now the question is, I need to do something about this center. But the thing with this move is while it is just good shape for white, right? It affects a lot on the bottom here because it means after white gets this move, white can Hane, and you can see cut off black. So maybe I need to do this one first. Yeah, I should just do this one first. Yeah, this is so much better. If white plays something like this, I can still get this peeping move like this and still cut white off. Something like this. And white has to fix somehow. Maybe white can fix with a move like this, but it's still, I don't think. Yeah, is that connected? I guess for now it's connected, but there is still some bad Aji. There's some very bad Aji. So yeah, I should just poke here. I didn't realize, and during the game I did not realize the effects that this stone had for white had against this black group. So I peeped and then Hane to keep white cut. So now white is completely cut off, so white needs to run in this direction. And then I attach. So again, I am seeing if white really wants to save these 4 stones before I fix any weakness here. Because maybe if white's willing to give up these 4 stones, maybe I would not need to play there then. So I attach, white blocks, I push, and then Atari. And here, I thought this was a mistake. White, I think, needs to just connect here. Because even though I get this capture here, like I'm still not alive. And you'll see that I'm able to get a very important move because white didn't connect here. So if I cut directly, this doesn't work. White can throw in, capture, and then get captured like that. But instead, before I play this one, I can play this move in Sente, which is now threatening this cut. Before, if I cut directly, it just goes nowhere. I have 2 liberties. These stones have 3 liberties. These white stones are protected. It just goes nowhere. But after I get this move, now the cut works. I shouldn't play that one. Now if I cut, now white is unable to Atari down because now I can capture at G2 if I need to. So what if white just fixes? Well now, now I can cut here now, and now the squeeze does not work because I've played at G4, which is protecting that. And so if I'm able to capture that those 5 stones, that is a lot of points. So white had to connect, but then I'm able to cut. And so the fun thing about this game, and this is why, regardless of whatever the result is, I was very happy with how I played because, one, according to AIs, this game was relatively close throughout the whole game. No one had a landslide victory until, of course, right at the end. But before that, it was pretty close throughout. And my history with online matches, like I'm thinking back to my last 2 Go Congresses that were online. I did not play very well online. So I was happy with how I played in an online quote-unquote tournament, although this is more of a fun match sort of thing. But yeah, I was very happy with how I played, especially if you consider the level difference between me and my opponent. So white plays here. Yeah, and I mentioned that because if I just block, I have a very good position. Again, now that I've cut, it's hard for white to save these 2 stones without losing these stones here. So it's just, yeah, it's just very difficult. Even here, I can just descend here like this and allow white to get a few reductions here in Gote. But you know the special. I'm still going after the whole group. And while this move is okay, allowing whites to be able to get these forcing moves in Sente is what made the game get out of hand. Because once white jumped here, I was like, oh man. 1, white shape is perfect. You will not find a more perfect move than this move. But 2, now I have 2 issues. 1, I have the issue I was talking about earlier of this Hane here, where I cannot cut white. I can't even technically I think I could do this actually now that I'm looking at it. So no, I really can't do this, can I? So this would be offering a sort of trade like this, and this would be pretty big, although this is giant. But I think white can just go here, because if I try to come through like this, white can cut. Instead, though, I can peep here instead. But once I go here, white can still just connect like this. If I do play this one though, then white now has some. After white cuts here, now white has some Sente moves, which I think help white connect back, like so. Yeah. So, little too dangerous there. A little too dangerous. And there are other ways for white to cut too. Like white can, if that way is too dangerous, white can push first and then attach like this. So there's actually many ways for white to cut black. So that's why I Hane here. But even after this Hane, if I connect back, you'll see this prevents white from being able to go here, because this is now an Atari. White can't cover this way. White would have to take, and then I can connect like that. And if this does happen, this would not be too much loss for black. But instead of that move, white can push and then play here. This is a very nice move where even after I make this exchange, there's no way for me to connect. If I push through, after this you can see if I connect, white connects, or if I cut, white connects that way. So white has me-eyed connection either way. So even after this exchange, I was like, oh, I still have to answer. So then white cuts off the bottom, and you'll see there's some aji here, but it's too painful to try to live on the bottom because I lose so much in the corner. And yeah, it's just all bad. So I try some Tetsuji here. This is kind of the shape point of the dog face. You boop the nose of the dog face. But in this case, again, because white's shape is so strong, there's not really anything there. There is technically something there if white played it incorrectly. And it starts with this push here. Because again, this is Sente. Even if I connect, white would be able to cut off that heavy group, which initially I wanted to be a strong group. So I have to connect. And if white doesn't make that exchange, you'll see that when I connect and then white connects, I can squeeze like this. I can Atari and then play this one. And you can see can capture. But you can see if white has made this exchange already, like in the game, now when they connect, there's no squeeze anymore. So that's why they made that exchange. Very good. I did not see that. When I played this, I was like, I think this works. I think this works here, this initial move here. But they very smartly found their refutation. And so they went there, connect, and then went there. And can't live on the bottom, can't cut white, so I resigned at this point. But again, as I said, I was very happy with this game. Very even throughout. Very even throughout. It's just one little misplay of capturing here was the nail in the coffin. If I had just gone here, black has a slight lead. It's a slight lead. So yeah, but again, I'm very, very happy with this game. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the game. If you have any questions about this game, please let me know. And I will also have a link to the Twitch VOD of live commentary that they did on not only this game, but also other games, the other 3 games of round 2. Yeah, I'll put them in the description. I'll put the link in the description, but I'll also have a comment. It should be a pinned comment at the top of the video where you can head over there and watch if you want to. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.